joined, so there was an issue of my listening. So I missed certain points, but I could listen to other speakers, including the last one, Sandeep. You see, she made a big statement. A country is not just its soil, a country is its people. And I think the people are left out in this budget, number one. Second thing which I want to say is that this budget aimed at elections. It's not a budget to revive India's economy, which is in very, very bad situation, bad shape. And day by day, our economy is further dooming. Decent jobs are not available, and agrarian sector crisis is not being met. The social sector is being ignored, and the working class, which speaks for the working masses, is supposed to be strangulated through this forcible labor code implementation without taking trade unions into consideration. So I want to be very blunt. I'm sorry for that. But the elections in Delhi and the elections which are forthcoming in Bihar were in the focus as far as this budget is concerned. How they tried to camouflage as if this middle class is going to gain in a big way, and that's going to give boost to the whole economy. How many are going to gain? Not even 2 crore. For last 2 days, the debates are going on now. Not even 2 crore. And we are talking of 57 crore workforce in India. Out of that 57 crore workforce in India, 93% are in informal economy. And informal economy, mainly they are self-employed, piece rate workers, then those in agrarian sector, and those with MSMEs. They are the large workforce, rural and in urban area. We were looking forward that there should be urban employment guarantee scheme like a rural employment guarantee scheme. But even Manrega has been ignored, as told by the previous speakers. The issue of wages is a serious issue for us. And this minimum wages issue is not addressed. And the economic survey, as mentioned by others, has already shown that the minimum wages in real sense have sunk down. And the statistics which Sandeep was telling here, if you look at that statistic and then add on to inflation, what has happened in these years from 2017-18 to 2025, now we are in. So even that what economic survey is saying is much more worse than what economic survey is saying. So who are these people? These are the working masses. These are the workers who are in a difficult situation, who wanted to look at the budget which should address them. But the budget became only for the purpose of winning some elections. So budget after budget, whole intention is how to garner votes. Intention is not to handle the economy. And India, such a big country, is going to suffer with so many of its millions of people, billions of people who are living on meager wages and meager earnings. The livelihoods are absent. So we wanted employment to be addressed, but employment is not addressed in this. Talking of indirect employment, what is our experience? They declared ELI, they declared production-linked incentives and all trying to say that this will generate employment. It is only incentivizing the employers. And Mrs. Sitaraman used ease of doing business several times. This term was used, and that's where we, the working class, know what do they mean by that. And in the name of ease of doing business, you are giving gati shakti to private sector, and you are killing your own public sector. Now they have brought 100% FDI in insurance sector. It's not only the employees who are supposed to suffer. No, it's the people who are going to suffer. Those who are benefiting from the insurance companies, the public sector companies, in various services which they get, and the life insurance, which is really a lifeline for many of crores of our people who get involved into it. And the money in this public sector is always handy for the government to run its own social schemes. All these social schemes are done through banks and through insurance sector. The banks are under attack, and now 100% FDI in insurance also. That's what they are going to do. The scheme workers are almost 1 crore. ICDS, Anganwadi, ICDS, Asha workers, midday meal workers, they are not less than 1 crore. They are not even worker status with them. And so they are devoid of anything. So they are given honorarium only. So nothing has been done as far as they are concerned in this budget. Similarly, talking of agriculture, it was said this budget is to concentrate on agriculture, it is to concentrate on MSMEs, it is for investments, it is for exports. These four things she repeated when she said the country is not just its soil and a country is its people. But what have they done to the agrarian sector? Agrarian economy is not addressed. Farmers' distress continues. So how Viksit Bharat will come off? Vast majority of rural area is till today 40% families living depends on the agrarian sector even till today. Now, in such a situation, what is the lip service done to the agrarian sector? I need not go into detail. Others have spoken about it. Now, the migration issue. A whole country saw what happened to the migrant workers. And I want to tell you that within the state, migration is maximum. And then migration intrastate. So intrastate migration within the state out of total migrant population, which is almost 40 crore in the informal economy. Out of them, 80% are within the state and 20% are outside the states, going and coming back. We had demanded policy on migration during corona period, and the government promised that they will bring a policy on migration to deal with the migration within the country and to deal with the migration internationally. Our workers suffer everywhere, and now and then we keep listening to the news what happens to them. And the Indian government or our embassies, they don't even are sympathetic to the problems when they face very severe situations. And the families run pillar to post, and then they contact the trade unions also. The government said they will bring in policy, but instead of that, they have amalgamated Migrant Act into Occupational Safety Health Code, OSH code. And what they have done is, out of all the articles and the clauses of that Migrant Act, the Interstate Migrant Act of 1979, which was not implemented by respective governments, and our migrant workers suffered during corona period. They have taken only 6 clauses which go against unions and against migrant workers, goes in favor of employers. So those 6 clauses are dumped into Occupational Safety Health Code, and Migrant Act itself is being abandoned, and immigration issue not being taken care of. So vast majority of our informal economy worker is among the migrant workers, and that sector is not addressed at all. They talk of MSME, which is the maximum job giver. MSMEs, you are only increasing how much more credit they can take, but you are not giving them relief on GST. And this is the sector which suffered most during demonetization and during GST. Unplanned things being done in this country. And all with keeping an eye on votes only, not keeping an eye on the economy of this country, how to handle it. So in that also, we have been demanding there has to be a policy. We are saying these labor codes are in the name of ease of doing business. They are anti-workers. Workers were never consulted. Indian Labour Conference was never held. And you want to impose it even without talking to those who are the stakeholders, the major stakeholders. We didn't say that employers should not be consulted. Employers and employees together in Indian Labour Conference along with the government are supposed to sit together for any changes in labor laws. So you bring labor laws forcibly and impose on it, and then you think that we should हम डुगडुगी बजाएं कि आपने बहुत अच्छा बजट दे दिया. It's not so. It is not true. It is anti-workers budget. I should say it in a straight away manner. So MSMEs have been shabbily treated, and the corporates will further gain out of this kind of a budget. And these indirect linked schemes will not generate jobs. Already, if you look at the government's own report, what has happened to ELI, which was announced in June month? What has happened to that? How much they succeeded? They rather depressed the wages. The workers who were earning 40,000, 45,000, you are incentivize them, the employers, to give them only 15,000 rupees. All those schemes are actually failing. So these kind of indirect job creation cannot work in this country. So I go by the panelists who are saying that the budget has overlooked all these things, and all social sector spending is actually in real term reduced. You look at education budget, you look at health budget, you look at sanitation budget, you look at water budget, clean drinking water, or you look at poor housing budget. As much budget was given, 50%, 60%, or 40% was spent. And now this time, all that money was still there lying. And this time you are giving a sanction of the budget even less than what was announced last time, or what was even spent in some cases. So social sector spending has been shabbily treated in this budget also. So looking at those whole things, also, as I told you about labor codes, I also want to say, she said we have decriminalized 180 laws. We know what the decriminalization means. You have stopped inspection, and our workers are dying everywhere. In occupational safety health situations, every day there is a news of workers dying. The whatever the safety is in place is not in the place. It is there on the papers. And then at that situation, the government is not at all worried about the safety of our workers, and inspection system has been abandoned, and inspection system will be finally done away with. Strikes will be done away with. The negotiations, all our systems of moving for getting collective bargaining benefits, all that will be doomed, because they are winding up the labor codes. They are talking about tribunals. They will stop the whole system of negotiations the way the trade unions have been doing. So decriminalization is actually in the sense how to gag the trade unions. So from the working class point of view, we think the budget has done a lots of damage to Indian economy as such, because vast majority of population, the labor force, their families, if you include it, it's more than 100 crore. If you add into farmers and the agriculture workers, they are saying we are to agriculture sector, they say हम उनको आत्मनिर्भर बना रहे हैं. कहां से आप आत्मनिर्भर बना रहे हैं? रूरल इंडिया तो अभी भी तरस रहा है, क्राइसिस में है, डिफिकल्टी में है. What has been given by this budget to them? It's not there. So I think with these things, I would like to stop here now, so that if there is a second round, I will be able to come. But definitely, this budget has really failed in meeting the expectations of common masses, and the budget is totally eyed on 5th February polls, as well as looking at a whole hype is being created, and then looking at Bihar. It is a double-edged budget. You have Biharis in Delhi who are voters, and you have a partner in your NDA government in Bihar, which you think will trouble you. So you want to handle these two things, and you bring this budget in this manner. So we are really thoroughly disappointed and in anguish. On 5th February, we are going to have All India protest. And now yesterday in the meeting of Kisan Morcha, they are also going to burn the copies of budget. We are going to have All India protest on this budget, on all the issues, some of the issues which I mentioned, some the other speakers had already mentioned. So we are going to do on that. And we will definitely be intensifying our struggles, because budget debates will continue, and we would want pro-worker member parliaments of various political parties to take up their cause. Thank you.